The New York Jets take on the Atlanta Falcons this Sunday, and I've got my 5 bold predictions for the game. Let's go. Well, welcome back to New York Sports WickerMedia. I'm watching K99. Thank you, as always, for taking the time to watch these videos. If you're brand new, welcome aboard. Please like and subscribe. If you're returning, welcome back. I appreciate everybody's support. Of course, we go live every Wednesday night at 10 p.m. Last Wednesday was a whole lot of fun. We did our Jets trivia, and we broke out the 100 random Jets wheel. That turned out to be a half hour of a whole lot of fun, so join us on Wednesdays. You never know what might happen. All right, so bold predictions. So we're going to get into our 5 for the Atlanta game. Before we do that, gotta do what we always do, recap our 5 predictions from the previous game. So against Miami, I said Braxton Berrios would score for Miami. Thankfully, he did not. I said Raheem Mostert would have at least 3 runs over 15 yards. He only had one of those, but it was the absolute back-breaking touchdown at the end of the game for 34 yards. I predicted Miami would turn the Jets over at least 3 times. Well, they turned the Jets over twice, and the Jets actually turned Miami over 3 times, and they still got absolutely whipped. All right. I said the Jets would score a touchdown on offense, and it would not be by Breece Hall. I was correct. Garrett Wilson scored the only Jets touchdown of the day. And I also said Mike effing White would come into the game in the fourth quarter because the game would be out of hand. I was correct. It turned out to be the last play for a kneel down just to rub a little salt in the wound. My score prediction, man, oh man, I predicted Dolphins 34, Jets 10. I was a field goal away. So not too bad on that one. So let's take a look at Jets versus Falcons. Seems on the surface to be a pretty competitive game. 2 teams that, have their strengths, definitely have their weaknesses as well. But because one plays in maybe the worst division we've seen in maybe a decade, they are definitely in the playoff hunt as opposed to the other one. All right, well, I do predict the Jets are going to force multiple turnovers in this game. I have never been a Desmond Ridder fan. I've got no confidence in him. He has thrown more interceptions than touchdowns, and Atlanta has been a little bit fumble-prone as well. And one thing the Jets defense is doing a lot better this year than last year is turning the other team over. I do predict Bijanrobinson will get at least 150 all-purpose yards. So as of last week against New Orleans, they started using Bijan in multiple ways, did Arthur Smith and the Falcons coaching staff. Not just lining him up as a running back, but putting him out wide. Like the Jets used to do with Dalvin Cook and CJ Uzomah, but the less said about that, the better. But I think lining him up and finding some different plays for him, I think he's going to have a couple of plays where he really has a big impact. Number 3, I predict kylepitts will score a touchdown for Atlanta. He has 1 touchdown all season, but he always seems to do well against the Jets. I don't know what it is, but usually he finds himself lined up against Bryce Hall and seems to do very well. Whether it was the game in London, if you even want to count the exhibition game the year before that. So I think Pitts is going to score a touchdown here. I do predict, I'm getting bold here, the Jets will have at least 2 passing touchdowns in this game. The Jets have had, check this stat out, the Jets have had 1 game all season with multiple offensive touchdowns. That was against Kansas City, and it was CJ Uzomah and Allen Lazard. I just got a feeling the Jets eventually are going to do a little bit better on offense. You'll have some new pieces back in the offensive line, got some players coming back. I think it's going to go a little bit better than it has, so maybe I'm crazy, but it's bold, right? That's the whole idea here. It'd be easy to say, the Jets will score under 20 points. No, we got to get a little more creative than that. Number 5, I predict at least 5 field goals in this game. You've got 2, good defenses. I think the Jets' defense is better against offenses that are, to say the least, limited. And as far as the final score prediction goes, well, I've been a little bit back and forth on this game. With how it's going to turn out. No matter how I'm thinking about it, it always seems to be no more than about a 4-point margin either way. At the end of the day, I think that the Atlanta run game is going to really do some damage. I think Atlanta's going to score more times than the Jets, but the Jets will still get in the end zone a time or two. I'm ultimately going with Atlanta 19 and the Jets 17. I think it's going to be a very field goal heavy game. That's kind of what I see happening, and at that point, we can pretty much shut down the talk about Aaron Rodgers coming back. All right, those are my thoughts on the game. Let me know if you have any bold predictions. Put them right down there in the comments. Thanks, everybody, for watching, and I'll see you right back here with more content from you know where, the Wicker Channel.